Welcome to Nerdgasm. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Legion Season 2. Now, I know some of you have been wondering, what's going on with Legion Season 2? Is it still going to happen? Is it being canceled because I haven't heard any news about it? Guys, Legion Season 2 is still happening. Don't worry about it. It's still there. It has been confirmed that Season 2 is going to happen. Noah Hawley said that for Season 2, they're trying to do exactly what they did for Season 1, and it's going to end up being in February of 2018. So if you're wondering when it's coming back, guys, it's not a specific date, but it's going to be just like Season 1. It's going to be in the spring, and then instead of 8 episodes, it's going to be 10 episodes. It's going to likely have 10 episodes. He wants 10 episodes. But you guys got to remember, he also does another show. So he has to do that show, and then he has to work on Legion. It's a whole thing. But I want to let you know from this point on, if you haven't seen Season 1, please don't watch this video, guys. There are spoilers. There are so many spoilers. Please don't ruin it for yourself. One of the biggest things that people have been wondering is what's going on with the cliffhanger from Season 1. He was sucked into an orb and then he got taken away, and oh my god, what's gonna happen? Was it Mojo? We don't know. Was it his father? We don't know. Guys, the whole point of what happened was that they were trying to keep you engaged. You have to remember, Legion is crazy, he was insane, a lot of it was because of the Shadow King, and then he finally gets a better control of his powers. I have no idea how. He was like, I know how to use tons of my mutant abilities now. Woohoo, I'm a world breaker. And then the whole thing ends, and then he gets trapped. This all-powerful mutant gets trapped in a freaking Pokeball. So that whole end credit thing was to keep the pressure on, to make you guys feel like, oh, what the heck is going to happen? How did that even happen? And Hawley said that that's what he wants Season 2 to be. Hawley wants Season 2 to be just constant pressure. You guys are always wondering what's going to happen next. What exactly is going to stop this all-powerful mutant? Also, some people were wondering, what's going on with the Equinox name drop? They said Equinox, but we never actually saw anything about Equinox. Well, it turns out that the orb is actually tied to Equinox. The orb is a part of whatever D3 was doing. Somehow the orb and Equinox is tied together with D3, and that's going to be something that they're going to touch on next season. Now you might be wondering, what's going on with the Shadow King? What happened? First he was inside of David, and then he jumped into Clement's character. So people are wondering, how the hell is that going to even work? Why was he seeing Aubrey Plaza if Aubrey Plaza was David's friend who was doing drugs, back in Season 1, in the early parts of Season 1? The Shadow King is making him see what he wants him to see. The Shadow King is making him see someone that he knows, just like it did to David. It messed with David's memories. It made David see someone that was never really there, someone completely different. It's doing the same thing to him. You have to remember, when he came out, his memories were kind of messed up. And then he remembered his wife, but then, boom, the Shadow King jumped in, took over his body. It was a whole thing. So now there's going to be an extended part of the story next season where we see what happens with Aubrey Plaza and Jermaine Clement's characters. They're not just going to kind of touch on it. It's going to actually be a staple of the season. But other than this whole thing with the Shadow King jumping into someone else's body and Aubrey Plaza coming back to be the awesome Shadow King that she is, people are wondering what's going on with Professor X. Is it going to be Patrick Stewart? It's not going to be Patrick Stewart. I'm sorry, it's not. But we got this backstory for David's birth father and how he interacted with the Shadow King, how he stopped the Shadow King, how the Shadow King wanted revenge because of what Professor X did to him. Regardless, we know that David is going to want to find out who his father is. After that whole figuring out he's adopted, it's going to be a part of the story. It's going to be a large part of the story. And Hawley already confirmed that Professor X is going to be touched on more in Season 2. How much we're going to see Professor X? Are we going to see an actual actor? Are we going to see any actor that we recognize? Probably not going to be someone from the X-Men movies. But Hawley did say that Professor X is going to show up in some shape or form. Even if he's not a main character part of the story, he will eventually show up, because you find out you're adopted. You're not just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm a super powerful mutant. My dad had to leave me with normal people and then the Shadow King possessed me. Nah, I don't care who my father is. No, you're going to want to know. And he already said, we're going to see it. It's going to happen, guys. It's not going to be a large part, but Professor X will show up. Another thing that Hawley talked about that some people may not like, I know, I'm sorry, it's not going to draw a lot of comparisons to the comic books, guys. He said that Season 2 isn't going to go jumping towards Legion comic arcs. It's not going to happen like that. They did the thing with the Shadow King, but other than that, we're not going to see him with a million personalities. We're not going to see him inside of his mindscape with a prison that holds all the crazy powers that he has. It's going to be something different, which means that it's possible Mojo could show up. I know people were talking about Mojo. I'm not saying anything about Mojo showing up. I'm just saying that because they're not following Legion comic arcs, they could pretty much do whatever they want at this point. He wants to make something compelling, something that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and he might take some bits and pieces from comic books, but it's not going to be recognizable. It's not going to be like the DC TV universe. The good part about season 2 is that we're going to see David and his friends actually doing stuff outside, all right? They're going to be going around. They're not going to be in just the main places like they were last time. They're not just going to be at Summerhold. They're not just going to be at the little not X-Men mansion place. They're going to be actually going out, not only because of the fact that Aubrey Plaza is out there running around trying to find whatever the hell she's trying to find. I think it's the body, but I could be wrong. They also want to expand on what we saw. They don't just want to do it exactly how they did season 1. Season 1 was kind of him finding himself, so it was a little bit more enclosed. But now they're going to be going out into the world. They're filming in different locations this time. They're going to be going to a bunch of different places. And the best part about it is, however they shoot it, they're going to have people still guessing, where the hell is it? Where are we? What time period is this? All the stuff we loved about season 1 that just confused the hell out of us. It's going to be coming back for season 2. I know it's not a lot of news. I know it's not probably the best news that you guys wanted to hear, but I thought I would catch you guys up on what we know so far. It's not a lot. I wish they would come out with more news for this show, but they haven't. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news for you guys, but it seems like this might be important stuff for you to know while you're waiting. And I promise, as soon as they come out with news, if they announce an actor for Professor X, if they announce what they're doing with the Shadow King, I will be there. I will do it. I'm sorry. The news is slow on this show. You got to remember, it doesn't come out till February, so they have a lot of time to wait on news. If you guys want to watch something while we're waiting, you can check out the History of Legion video. I mean, like, the whole history of Legion is freaking crazy. I had to, it's long, but it's enjoyable, I promise. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support. I will see you guys later on today. Goodbye.